Hello and welcome to another video here on Powerdojo. Today we're going to have a global view of all Power Platform products and services. Before we introduce the Power Platform products, let's have a look at what exactly is Power Platform. Power Platform is a low-code or no-code platform of Microsoft. It is integrated with Office 365, which are the tools such as Excel and SharePoint. With Dynamics 365, which are the ERP and CRM tools from Microsoft, and with Azure, which is the Microsoft Cloud. Azure's capacity and services are available to choose from, so you can use, for example, Azure's security solutions such as Azure Active Directory. You can take it a step further and complement your Power Platform products with Azure's AI solutions such as cognitive services available in Azure. Power Platform is a suite of 5 different products allowing you to increase productivity in the organization without necessarily being a developer or coding every single detail. For example, I don't come from a development background either. So let's have a look at these 5 products one by one. First up, we have Power BI, which is undoubtedly the most popular among all the Power Platform products. So when we say Power BI, the first thing that should pop up in your mind is dashboards. Helps you create dashboards which are interactive, through which you can gain insight on the data in hand. It is a business analytics service that delivers insights for analyzing data. It can share those insights through data visualizations, which make up reports and dashboards to enable fast, informed decisions. To put the point across, it is better to provide examples rather than definitions. So, as you can see at the bottom, we have few examples of dashboards that you can create with Power BI. The first one, Airport Authority Performance Dashboard. If you have seen the movie The Terminal, Tom Hanks is in it. They have a daily briefing in the morning. Just imagine how a dashboard will help them to get the number of inbound flights, number of outbound flights. We'll talk about 3 components of Power BI. First one is Power BI Desktop. It's a desktop application which lets you create reports and visualization. Power BI service lets you consume or share your Power BI reports with your team or a person outside your organization. And lastly, Power BI Mobile. It is self-explanatory. Power BI Mobile lets you consult your dashboards on your mobile. Over here, we have an example of a dashboard on Power BI service. If you can see, if I were to click on different rows over here, the values change in the other graphics. For instance, if I click on this line, you see the value of average days remaining has changed. So this is how Power BI lets you filter out your selections, which you can apply to other graphics as well, not only to the graphics that you have selected. The next product that we're going to talk about is Powerapps. Powerapps is a tool that helps you create applications in low code inside Power Platform. It enables creation of web and mobile applications that run on all devices and eases user into app development with a simple interface that even simple business user or even pro developers can create custom apps. So there are 3 components that I would like to talk about in Power Apps. First is Canvas Apps, which helps you customize an application on your telephone, tablet, or PC. You can create an application from scratch, thus the name Canvas. Next component is model driven apps. There is a predefined interface which we can modify from the inside. And lastly, portals or power pages. I'm not going to talk about much about this since we will be discussing Power Pages later in this video. For an example of Power Apps, we have one on the screen over here. And as you can see in this app, we have an app dedicated to fundraiser donations. As you can see, we have 4 different panels. First one is the active fundraisers. So we can see which fundraisers are currently active either in your organization or your community. Here's a list of all the donations awaiting payment, and the donations that have been received. So this is how a sample Power App looks like. The next product that we're going to talk about is Power Automate. Power Automate is essentially the brain of the Power Platform. It helps you to automate your processes or tasks. Power Automate uses a concept of trigger, which will trigger a set of actions which make up a flow. There are different types of flows that we'll talk about one by one. First up, we have cloud flows, which is a part of digital process automation. Power Automate will call upon, for instance, an API in order to execute the task. Next up, we have desktop flows, which is my favorite, robotic process automation. And this flow, you train a robot to perform a task, which is a repetitive task. So you can, for instance, you can train the robot to open an PDF, extract a certain line from the PDF, and insert that line into a Word document or a SharePoint list. And once you train the robot like this, you just need to ask the robot to execute the flow one more time. So for instance, it can help you to extract that line from the PDF for 20 other documents, 20 other PDFs, which you have in your folder. Next up, we have business process flows. Business process flows provide a guide for people to get work done. So they provide a streamlined user experience that leads people through the process their organization has defined for them. So they follow a business process. And lastly, we have a component in Power Automate, which is called as process mining. Process mining and task mining in Power Automate allow you to gain a better understanding of your business processes so you can optimize them. We have an example of Power Automate over here. So as you can see, we have a trigger, which is when an item is created, after which we have an action. So in which the approval type is approve or reject, depending upon what item it is in the SharePoint list. It will extract the manager's name, the date, and the name of the sender. The next product that we're going to talk about is Power Virtual Agents. As soon as we say Power Virtual Agents, the first thing that should come to your mind are chatbots. Power Virtual Agents enables everyone to create powerful chatbots using a guided, no-code graphical interface without the need for data scientists or developers. Power Virtual Agents addresses many issues with chatbot building as it eliminates the gap between the SME, which is your subject matter expert, and the development teams that are required to build chatbots. The principle is simple. Over here, the trigger statements will trigger an action. As we saw in Power Automate, we need a trigger to perform an action, to perform the actions which are in the flow. Over here, there are trigger statements that will trigger an action. So let's have a look at the example which is shown over here. You can see we have a trigger phrase in which a client has asked, how do I sign up for a trial? The chatbot will then provide a sort of a form through which the client can finish details, and it is in a feedback loop. So the chatbot is also asking the client, does this answer your question? And this is when the client says yes. So over here you can see how what kind of trigger phrases or what kind of questions will the chatbot might be able to answer depending on the client's input. And lastly, now we're going to talk about Power Pages, which is the newest member of the Microsoft Power Platform family. Microsoft Power Pages is a secure, enterprise grade, low code software as a service platform for creating, hosting, and administering modern external facing business websites. Whether you are a low code maker or a professional developer, Power Pages empowers you to rapidly design, configure, and publish websites that work across web browsers and devices. You can quickly create and design professional and secure sites for your business with Power Pages. Quickly create new sites directly from the Power Pages homepage by using the default template or choose from existing industry-based starter template. We have an example over here of what we can achieve with Power Pages. An example of an external facing business website for a bank with an integrated app over here where you can select appointment times. So we had a look at the 5 Power Platform products which are shown over here: Power BI for your dashboards, Power Apps for your app development, Power Automate process automation, Power Virtual Agents, which are nothing but your chatbots, and Power Pages, which are your external facing website. In the next video, we'll have a look at all the core services which are the foundation of Microsoft Power Platform products. Do let me know in the comments of what you thought about this video. Do not forget to subscribe. I will see you in the next video.